Victor, and I would like us to make these as interactive as possible. So don't mind me. I have been informed about this training uh, for a while, just out of my busy schedule. Putting everything together last minute is kind of my usual whatever. So don't mind me. I'm just as human as you guys are. Um, Before we get started, Um, is it possible for you to unmute your mic and probably tell us what your background is and why you want to break into data analytics, if you don't mind, since it's a very small group. And if you feel like you don't want to talk, feel free to type in the chat. I'm going to read it. Who wants to start? Should I call names? Or can you all hear me? Let me even ask that.
Yes, we can.
Please, do you want to get started or do you want to type? Why do you want to break into data analytics? Tell us what you do and tell us why you want to break into data analytics. And I'm going to read it out loud if you can chat. And if you are afraid to chat, you can type it, you can send it to me directly. So while everybody's typing, since nobody wants to unmute their mic, I'll tell you about myself. My name is Victor. I'm a data analyst. I started my career as an electrical engineer, and along the line, I realized that there is a lot for me to learn, or there's a lot for me to give. Um, and in the future, as the future of everything is relies heavily on what's it called, on data. So I decided to embark on the journey of becoming a data analyst, and is a single decision out of all the decisions that I've made that I have never regretted doing. Ever since I've been working, I've not been out of job, and I've worked both in public, private sector. Even during pandemic, I've always been having jobs. So, next part of my slide. Um, this slide, I just pulled it out now. Ignore the start date on this, whatever. We will announce a new start date if we will be rolling out any session soon. I think that will be in August. If you are interested in joining our data analytics class, it's 6 weeks long, and if you're in the UK, it costs £550. In the US, it's 750, and in Canada, it's 950. What you will be learning, I will kind of give you a bit of a snippet today. But the agenda today, I'll give you a bit of an introduction. I'll tell you what the job market looks like, how to get into the space, and I'll tell you a bit of a story of what people have done so far. So, a lot of people think, oh, before I get started, let me read what. So, somebody said their name is Yejide Macaulay. They heard a lot about tech, and a friend asked them to learn coding, but they are privileged to join some kind of AI training. That is interesting. Who else? Is anybody saying anything here? Nobody. Okay. Please respond. I don't want this class to be a dead class. Please, not a dead session. It's not a class. It's just a session. Feel free to. Okay, Chico, I'm interested in transitioning into data analytics because it's the new move now. Uche, thank you. Who else wants to type something? Please feel free to type. I will be reading it as I get along. So, introduction. A lot of I want to kind of talk about misconceptions about the data space. Um, Number one, a lot of people believe that you need to get a certificate for you to be in the data space or for you to be able to get a job in the data space. Uh, some people believe you need to do computer science in the university before you can be an expert data analytics data person. But It's funny. I mean, funny enough, I can break it down to you that that is not correct in the voice of good luck, Jonathan. Unfortunately, because this thing is live streamed, I could have opened up my LinkedIn and I can show you friends that I have that are not just data analyst, but they are now like holding positions like director of so analytics at banks here in the UK. And I will walk you through their journey, and you will see that there is none of them that has a single certificate that says computer science or even data analytics. Majority of the people that are within this space are self-learners. And they come from different background. Myself, I came from an electrical engineering background. I've got friends who came from psychology. I've got people who came from nursing. I've got people who came from data, who came from medical, who are actually medical doctors, and they're just done with the bedside stuff, and they decide to go into data analytics themselves, and they just became an expert. And that is what makes everybody within the data space unique. Let's say if you're a surveyor and you branch into data analytics, when you're talking within this space as a data analyst, or you are communicating with people, you will realize that the moment whatsoever problem you are trying to solve goes across the land or the surveying space, you will have a stronger voice because it's the area you know a lot about. You will be able to question things a bit more different than any other person will be able to do. Prince said they work in the health sector and they want to have their knowledge broadened, especially with respect to tech space, as they see myself moving fully into it in the future. Yes, tech is everything these days, and to be very honest, AI is going to take a lot of jobs. I watched a video this morning of a machine, robots, that is actually using some what's it called, laser beam to scan through the someone's skin, identifying a vein and doing a proper IV that a nurse would have to do. What I'm saying is that regardless of wherever you find yourself,
Robot putting IV.
yeah, regardless of where you think you are, if you don't skill up, your job is actually under threat. It's real. It's not in the next 10 years. It's probably going to happen in the next 2, 3 years because right now we're in a recession, for example, in the UK, and a lot of organizations are looking into cutting costs. And when they are cutting cost of labor, definitely they will have to replace those people with machines. Now, what makes the difference is that there is a quotation probably you would see in the process, you will see in the line of this conversation that we are going to have today, that AI will not take your job. But the people that knows AI will take your job. I hope that makes sense to you. Hello. Let's make it interactive. Please unmute your mic. Talk to me. The people that knows AI are the one that will take your job because that machine will not operate by itself. Somebody needs to sit behind it, and it cannot just be somebody that does not understand how it works. So somebody said they are Ibrahim. They've been in the customer service sector for 15 years, but they've been doing care for a while now, and they are going into data analysis as the world is going AI. Yes, that's the way to go. Now, I've spoken about certificate. Nobody needs your certificate in this space. And I can tell you 9 out of 10 times, nobody will ask you for your certificate before you get a data job. All the places I've been working, I have never shown anyone either my first degree or any certifications that I have done that encompasses data science. Nobody ever asked me. The only thing 9 out of 10 times is that they will just give me a problem. Can you solve it? And if I tell them how I'm going to solve it and I can convince them enough that I can solve it, they will let me have the job and I'll do the job and they will all be happy. And that's what this space is all about. What will get you into any space around here is your experience. How much experience do you have? Now, some people don't have experience. Let's say, for example, they've trained for the role, but how do you get enough experience to get a job? The more practice you do by yourself is enough experience. See, some people create CV to say, I have not worked as a data analyst before, but I have trained. And after my training, I have done this and done that. Okay, what have you done? I took COVID-19 data, I searched for it online, and I'm able to build this dashboard. I took transportation data and I turned it into this dashboard. Some organization will tell you, can you show us what you've built? And they'll start asking you questions. How did you build this? What kind of problems did you face when you were building it? And guess what? If as long as you can do it, you will get the job. Some people believe that the moment you learn once, that's the end of everything. It does not end there. If you do training today, it's not the end. You have to practice. The more you practice, the better you are at practicing, the better your chances of getting a job. If you sit to whatever you've been taught, you will not learn anything new. And I can tell you without a doubt that within this space, at least averagely every three months, there is something new that you have to learn within the data space. So if I teach you how to do data stuff today, which is the fundamentals, if you stop learning and you are just going to work with the bare knowledge I gave to you, they may give you a job, but you may not get well paid because they will realize that the only thing you know is just basic. What makes you an exceptional data analyst is you learning new stuff within the space as you go. Because if you've done, let's say, for example, if your job is to wash plates, if you are washing it for the first time, there is a chance that you will wash it and a plate will fall out of your hand. And if it's something you are doing every day, you realize that if you do it, if it takes you 10 minutes to wash 10 plates before, and you are washing it every day, over time, the time that you are going to use to wash 10 plates will reduce to probably 5 or 3 minutes, if I'm not wrong. It depends on how well or how much you've been practicing plate washing. And if you call two people to say, come and wash plate, and you give them 10 plates each, nobody will have to tell you before you realize who knows a lot about plate washing than the other. The same way, there is no certificate for you to prove to anybody that you can type in Microsoft Word. It's the same way I don't require you to have a certificate for you to be a data analytics person. It's fully hands-on. And you have to be able to prove to me. If I would know that you can use Microsoft Word, I would give you Microsoft Word and say, write an essay for me on about your last holiday, and we'll see how you are typing. And if I can see how fast you can type and less mistakes you are able to make, I will pick the person that is making less error and can deliver on time. And that is how they judge people, or that's how people actually really get job within this space. A lot of people also believe that when you do job applications, you do 5 or 10. I'm sorry to tell you that you may have to do 100 or 200 applications, especially these days when there's a bit of recession everywhere. You may have to do a lot of job applications because you are not the only one that knows about it. And the more you are able to learn, the more you're able to put yourself out there, the more your opportunities. Remember that you are not the only one training. A lot of other people are training. And the more they practice, the better they get. The better they get, the better their opportunity. If you're not practicing and you're applying to 5 jobs, I'm sorry, you may not get anything. Another misconception, which is the last one I'm touching today, which is you just get paid for doing nothing. A lot of people believe you just sit down there and you just put everything into ChatGPT and you will get your answer. It doesn't work that way. You will have to do a lot of applications. It's just that ChatGPT, just consider ChatGPT as your calculator. You need to count a carton of money. You need to know how to do simple additions before you'll be able to use a calculator. You need to know that, okay, you can put this money in in bill and count them each. Let's say in 1,000 or in 20,000, and you're able to count it and sum everything together with the calculator. So you are not paid to do nothing. You are paid to do something. It only gets easier because you've practiced well enough. And that way, it looks as if you are not doing anything. But trust me, you are doing a lot because you are being paid for your experience, not for the labor. Somebody is here that has worked in customer service before. If you've worked in customer service in the UK, they will pay you according to the number of calls you've made or the number of hours you spent with the customer. And you have a number of targets that you are supposed to reach. Within the data space, it is a delivery-based role. Delivery in the sense that we have this problem and we trust you enough that you can solve it. And you solve it within the number of days that, according to your experience, you're able to solve it. As soon as you're able to solve it, the customer is happy. Nobody cares about if it takes you 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 1 hour. But the more you solve it, the happier your employee or the employer, then the happier you will be, the fatter your check will be. So, I've said it, this is job market. There are seasons within the job space. When there are periods when the job market is where the market is high, and there are seasons where the job market is low. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Feel free to type questions into the chat. I will attend to it as we go. There are seasons where the job market is very high. Right now, the UK, for example, is in recession. A lot of people are out of job. If you have 10 roles being advertised, there are probably 100 people applying for it these days. So you need to show yourself to be very exceptional to get a job right now in the market. But does that mean people are not getting data roles? People are getting it. You just need to show yourself that. I can tell you that 10 people that are applying for data roles these days, 9 out of them just did a training and they did not practice. What can make you stand out is a lot of practice. And in your practice, the way you are going, after you've practiced very well, nobody will tell you what to put in your CV, because you'll be able to discover a new way of doing a lot of things that people are doing in the old way. If you're familiar with Excel, there's something they call VLOOKUP. If you do VLOOKUP for many years, that's the standard stuff anybody would teach you. Let's now assume that Microsoft rolled out XLOOKUP last week. And you, as a new data analyst that has been practicing and learning new stuff, you now put XLOOKUP, and a company is looking for somebody that knows XLOOKUP. They will take you over somebody that has been doing it over in the last 10 years that does not know XLOOKUP. And that's the way it works within this space. I can tell you, if you practice very well, you will get serious results. The job market does not care about your certificate. The job market cares only about your experience. I think I've mentioned that. And they go by, the job market is after the latest technology or the latest skill set. One thing about the technology space is that every new thing builds on the old things. So if anybody will teach you anything, we will teach you the old fundamental things that does not change within the space. Then, on top of it, you start picking new stuff and start adding it on it, and that makes you stronger. So that if anything new comes in tomorrow, you will not be shocked, because I can teach you the new stuff, but you don't know the fundamentals of everything. If at the end of everything, you don't know the fundamentals, if any new thing comes tomorrow, you have to go back and learn everything from scratch. However, if you've learned the basic right, the new ones will be easy add-on for you, and that's the way it works. Employers are looking for the right candidate with enough experience to get the job done. I think I've explained that. Well, do you want me to explain that one again? Hello?
Go ahead.
No, I think it's very well explained.
I
Yeah,
have
go ahead,
explained
please.
it.
Thank you.
The position of somebody washing plates, two people washing plates. One, or if I tell you to type in Microsoft Word, I want to pick the person that can type faster with minimal error. So if you are going to be a data analyst, the training is one side, self-development is another side. If you do your self-development very well, great. Companies that are looking for data analysts are only looking for people that can help them solve problems. See, it's not like project management that they will be looking for where did you work last. What they care about is, can you do it? It will give you this problem. And if you ask people that have done data analysis, whatever before, they will tell you that 9 out of 10 times they give them exams to do. Not the exams like that. They will just give you one random data. They will tell you to go and solve it and bring it back. And they want to see how you are going to solve it. Some of them will check how long it took you. And some of them will want to come back and see what method you are using. The method you are going to use will be very unique to you based on how much practice you've done. I can tell you that there are things I can do today that a lot of people cannot do. It's because of how well I have played around with data. And I can tell you that I am following a lot of people at the back based on how much time they've dedicated into it. The point blank is that if you put 2 hours into your data analytics practice, you get 2 hours result. There is no grace, there is no mercy, there is no favor, there is no luck that can do it for you. Input is equal to output. If you don't put work, you don't get anything outside. You can be lucky one time, but they will come around and ask you, please, how did you do this? And you cannot explain it. You're out of job. Am I making sense to anybody? So
Sure.
there's a place for prayer, spirituality, luck, and etc. But in this space, you put work, you get result. You don't put work, you get no result. Very simple. No one is interested in. I see. If you look at me, it looks like I'm reiterating almost everything, right? But it's something that I cannot stop telling people because most of the time after this training today, you still hear people telling you like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing one training on Coursera. I just want to quickly finish it and get the certificate." Nobody cares about the certificate. Know what they are teaching you. Know it very well. Be able to turn it into something, and that's the only way to get it done. And it's the same with the software development space. If you are going into like software engineering, nobody cares. Nobody cares. They can say you must have a first degree there, so and so. At the end of everything, they waive it. I can even tell you one very situation that happened recently. I'm not sure everybody's in the UK, but one thing that happened recently is that Germany opened up on their blue card residence permit for expats recently. But guess what they did? They said if you are working within IT and so on and so forth, university degree is not required because they know that those roles does not require a university degree. But if you know you can prove yourself to say you know this thing and so on very well, and you have enough experience to prove it, come and apply for German residency. So it's not by degree. You can have degree in anything. It doesn't make any difference. And I said it, one-time learning is not enough. Continuous learning makes a good data analyst. Learning without practice is equal to zero. Technology changes daily. Every day is a problem. You are hired to solve them. I've also seen people like, I'm doing it. And I cannot figure it out. See, one of the key things I will teach you in my data analyst class is how to use Google. If anybody is here that has been to most of my class before, is how to use Google. Because you will have to Google a lot of things. And at interviews, if they ask you, if you have a problem and you don't know how to solve it, how will you do it? Feel free to tell them that you are going to use Google. Where I work today, my director in my department uses ChatGPT to write most of his code. But you cannot just copy and paste. You need to know what the code is doing. You need to do a lot of reading. You have some problems that nobody in your organization can answer. You have to learn how to frame that question and post it online for you to get the right answer because somebody else had that problem before. And after doing 2, 3, 4 research, you figure it out. And guess what? The more you learn how to do that, over time, you will spend less time to research stuff because you will know how to frame or formulate your questions very well. Depending on the season, you can apply between 100 to 800 jobs before landing a job. And one other fact is rejection is a strength. You get a lot of rejections. You get a lot of unfortunate. You just need one simple yes. And that's the beginning of your career. Is someone trying to say something? Okay. None. Let's move to the next one. The timeline. You will have to research and determine what you want to become. And you have to learn via classes. There are 2 routes to learning. You have the, what's it called? Self-learning route, and you have the structured learning setup. We run a structured learning class where we teach people all the basics, like we handhold you. And the self-learning pathway means that you go online and start Googling stuff and you start practicing until you figure it out. It may take you a long time, but it will make you a better data analyst because that's one of the skills, or that's a core skill that you need to be a successful analyst or analytics person. No one can be a data analyst or data analytics expert without practice. Please let that sink into your head. No one can be an analyst or you can work in IT without practice. You need to practice. You must practice. Everything you are doing in that space depends on it. And there is a cycle I said. You can be applying for a job. You can be practicing and learning simultaneously. That can reduce the timeline or the time it's going to take you to get a job. And guess what? As you practice and learn new things, they will be showing up in your interview and your application. And I think it's actually the best way to do it. I did not know that I came up with our AP and hell thoughts. Anyways, that's what it means. You need to do it simultaneously. And you need to get a job. Don't stop learning. Because if you get a job, they will come up with a problem tomorrow that you never saw before. So you have to keep learning. And if you don't want them to replace you at work, you have to what? Keep learning. With us here, we run a training session, as I've said to you guys before. It runs for 6 weeks. We'll teach you how to deal with Excel to the core, Power BI, SQL, and all the other nitty-gritties that you need to be a successful data analyst. At least we will teach you exact stuff you need to land yourself a job. Are we going to handhold you? Yes. But we cannot do assignment for you. See, we'll give you assignment, but if you don't do the assignment, we've collected our own money already. But you cannot blame us that we didn't train you. So at the end, it still reinforces the fact that if you come to class, you will need to do an assignment. And through the assignment is what would make you get better. That assignment, if you can practice it well enough, that if they wake you up out of your sleep, you can do it successfully. Trust me, you will do well. I remember there was a day I traveled to Germany, and the moment I got to the airport, I got on the bus, and I had to change my bus somewhere. And the moment I was out of the first bus before joining the next one, I just got a ring on my phone. Boop, 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 boop. Hello, Victor. Please, can you help us? We are dealing with a VLOOKUP issue here. Can you help us solve it? I just turned on the tablet. Give me 1 minute. I checked it and I realized, hey, okay, that's where the problem is. Fixed it, and everybody's happy. And guess what? I kept it moving, and that's me continuing my journey. Until you are able to do some of these things, like without you thinking too much about it, then you are not ready. I mean, you have to be able to do it up to that level, and that's the level of practice that you need for you to be successful. CV acts, unless you are in the US or they told you there is no, or unless they give you a CV rule that okay, your CV must not be more than 1 page. There is no CV, not rule to the number of pages. In the US, they are very they are very, very fixed on it must be 1 page. In the UK, it doesn't have to be 1 page. As long as you can put enough stuff that meets the need of the employee, trust me, they don't care. And you can structure it very well. Don't put anything they can use to discriminate against you on your CV. People that are fresh from Nigeria, you see them, they put date of birth, sex, local government, marital status, and so on and so forth, blood group on their CV. Please, Don't put it on your CV. Anything they can use to put discriminate against. See, if you see most standard CVs, they just carry name, email address, and telephone number, and that's it. Experience first before education. I've also seen that with our people. They will put their CV out and they'll put bachelor of this, masters in this, PhD in this. Nobody cares. Load the experience first. Down, 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 down. Below your education, that are below your experience, then you can start loading your educations there. And in many cases, I just put the most recent one. And when you are loading your experiences, please put only relevant experience. If you are doing CV for a data analyst role, don't put support worker. Do you understand what I mean? There are ways you can work around tweaking it, right? Don't put, but just put relevant role to that job you are applying for. Do you understand what I mean? Now, you can be a customer service person and say you are a customer data analyst or customer data representative, whatever. You can tweak your title. Don't say you heard that from me, but I'm just telling you that it is easy to tweak the title. Put your current role there and tweak every part of it that involves data analysis. As a support worker, there is a lot of data analysis that is going on there. You write what's it called? You write weekly reports. There are staff performance, whatever, number of people on shift. You have inventory control. You have what's it called? Medication cabinet, and somebody counts the whatever. There is money for all the service users, right? That number is recorded somewhere. A lot of you use spreadsheet, and somebody needs to analyze that data. If you have trained well enough, you will be able to connect and figure out where that data is supposed to be or where everything is connected. If you're with the data now, if you're a customer service agent,
Don't beat your sister. Stand up.
if you're a customer service agent, there are let me see. If you're a customer service person, remember that you are not the only one in the at the workplace. Do you understand what I mean? What I mean is this. Um, I'm trying to. So remember that you're not the only one at the workspace. There are other customer service agents. There are a lot of things the management wants to measure. How many calls did we make in a day? How many staffs are able to make 500 calls so that they are able to determine if they need more than 500 people to handle 1,000 calls that is coming next week. How much staffs are coming to work? How much of them are absent? The number of absent people, how will it affect their daily performance? And so on and so forth. How many customers are happy? How many customers are unhappy?
I just give to me. I like it.
So,
We have a lot of these things here.
the person with the baby, please can you help us mute? I don't know who out of the people that are muted themselves, but anyways.
Don't you want?
Pope, can you please mute all? I don't think I have the. Okay. So, latest relevant education is what I put there on my CV. I also list tools. I list all the tools I know how to use, and that is actually a place to flex your muscle. See, that's your certificate. You may learn one random tool called Click, and everybody's using Power BI, but you've learned it, you've used it before. If you're applying for a job and they see on your CV that you know Click, that may be the only reason why they are going to hire you. So list your tools, list all the tools. There are so many tools you know how to use that you probably wouldn't even think about. And when you read the job description very well, you'll be able to see what kind of what kind of tools they're actually looking for, and that can actually help you tailor things to your CV. There are so many tools I know today that I don't know them before, but I saw that there is a requirement for it in the job description. I quickly learn it up and put it on my CV, find an application for it, and you can get a job. When you're at talking about the role, talk about what you did. Know it well before you know it well and be able to talk about it. And make sure your CV matches the job description. Before I continue, can somebody let me know if everything I've been saying here is making sense to anyone or if it's relevant to what you're doing? You can just type in the group. If it's making sense, give me a 1. If it's not making sense, give me a 2. And if you are 50-50, just give me a 3. Knowing your stuff, as I have said in the first place, you will not be asked for certificates. You will either have to explain what you've done in the past roles, or you'll be given a computer to solve a problem. If you say you're a data analyst, they'll just give you a spreadsheet. And I myself, I still get what's it called? I still get spreadsheets from employers, and they come around and say, take this spreadsheet. You have 30 minutes to solve this problem. So you have to be prepared for everything. Remember the example of plate washing. You gave 2 people 10 plates, and you told them to wash. One person spent 8 minutes washing it, and the other person spent 4 minutes washing it and washed it very well. Who will you hire? Put yourself in the position of the recruiter. What's the next one? Do you have questions before I start talking of stories? I I tend to have in meetings like this. I tend to have people that have gone through this whole process in the past. I tend to have them here to come and give some kind of testimony and tell us how they've gone through their journey and etc. and etc. I have one person here that I can actually ask to speak and tell us their experience. However, before I make them whatever, I'll tell you the story of other people. I know somebody who I think she was working in customer service before in Nigeria. And while she was doing customer service, she was dealing with Excel a little bit. So when they came to the UK for their masters, they were doing the masters, and the master was very, very, very loaded, where they don't even have time to practice anything. So while they were struggling, they decided to pick on our own training. They joined. We taught them what they needed for work, because sometimes when you are taking masters in data science or whatever, most of the things they will teach you will be very theoretical and will be for, let's say, if you want to go and work in Google or Facebook. But so many organizations are not implementing solutions at the level of Facebook and Google. Many of them are implementing at the level of a bank, Vodafone, who just have customer data and they just want to make basic sense out of it. How many customers are buying this product and how many customers are not buying it? They're not even interested in any prediction. They just want to turn their data into visuals. So she came, she learned all the basic stuffs from us, combining with what she was learning in school. Within a short period of time, she got an internship with Tesco Bank, and all of a sudden, I think she was retained as a permanent staff, and that was how she was able to move on. We have so many stories like that of people who came from random background, and they are able to, transition and become a full-blown data analyst. Within the space, I can tell you that most data analysts are not having a data background. They come in, they get into the job, they've done a lot of work there, and they start transitioning into what's it called? They start transitioning into so many other roles. And I can tell you that there are so many roles within the space. So I'll keep my mouth shut. Kule, are you able to tell us your story if you are available for it? Hello, can everybody still hear me? Just trying to be sure that I'm not talking to myself.
Yeah, we can still hear you.
All right. All right. If Kule is not available to tell their stories, I can show you some key facts from my other slides that I have. So this is what we have for the training. If anybody is interested, you can go to exovat.com/training. That's the price for the training. And the next, we've not fixed the date for it, but definitely we'll have a cohort in July this year, and it's going to what's it called for 6 weeks. Never stop learning. You will Google, you will watch plenty of YouTube videos, you will solve plenty problems, you learn daily, get a hold of any new relevant technology. You don't want to be out of date when you get a job. Thank you for that. But I want to show you some data sets before we go. If I have not closed it, I think it's this one. See, if anybody does not, I think we have like, I'll use the next 4 minutes up, and I will leave the last 5 minutes of this hour for you to ask questions. If you look at a lot of people that are working within the data space, a lot of them are working in the tech space, followed by the financial services. Other sectors, marketing and advertising, consulting, healthcare, pharma, a lot. Healthcare is still coming up. Healthcare is having a lot of data, but a lot of people are not there yet. A lot of people that are working in the healthcare space are yet to transition into data fully. But a lot of non-healthcare people are coming into the healthcare space to run their data. The day people in the healthcare space wakes up to start learning data, they will be able to take over that space from them. But as long as most of them are still stuck up into the like, oh, I want to be a nurse, I want to be a nurse, I want to be a doctor. The day they wake up from that dream is the day all of us that are non-healthcare people will have problem within that space. But as long as most of them are not going to wake up, there will always be food in the healthcare sector. There is retail, there is academia, there is gaming, there is government, a lot. I think I've mentioned the data skills. I've mentioned the role. See, some people within the data space entered as a data analyst. Some people entered as a statistician. Some people entered as a BI developer. Whatever role you used to enter, you can work your way up into any of these other roles that you are seeing here. It doesn't matter where you start, as long as you pick one. And in most cases, I think the easiest one to enter from is the BI or the data analyst role. When we train you to be able to do what a business intelligence person or a data analyst person will be able to do. And when you get in from there, you can actually just do self-learning and become a data engineer, become an infrastructure architect, and so on and so forth. Or you can even go ahead and becoming a machine learning engineer, and so on. And you can end up becoming a director of data analytics in the organization where you're working. These are roles you see here that they've advertised. Different rates and so on. Permanent role, contract roles here. Average in the UK is 30 to 50K for permanent role. Contractors, you earn between £300 to £500 a day. In the US, Canada, Australia is between 70 and 150K for permanent role. You may get between $50 and $150 per hour as a data analyst, or it depends on the state also. If you've attended any of our masterclass, you probably would have seen this chart very well. If you enter the data analyst, see data analyst, data engineer, data scientist, each and every one of them, their jobs are interwoven. You need communication, you may need a bit of software engineering skill, and you need a bit of math. In most cases, it's basic addition, subtraction, min, max, average, and co. And that's basically just it from me to you. Yeah, to be honest, that's just the bottom line of this whole thing. If you attend any of our trainings, at the end of the training, you'll be able to do stuff like this, like build charts like this. You'll be able to build stuff like this. You'll be able to build stuff like this. And this is one of our practice data sets that that we've built in one of our lessons or classes. So, that's basically it. Any questions, please feel free to ask. Do you have questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. You said the training will last for 6 weeks,
Yes, sir. Every Saturday.
every Saturday. Okay.
Yes.
And it will start from July.
Yeah, we'll be doing one in July. Yep.
So, how would the payment be? Is it one-off or you can?
We definitely allow instrumental payment. You can pay, I think, 3 times.
Yeah.
You can please split it into 3. And it's all Saturday, I think 6 to 8 p.m.
Okay,
every
2 hours. Okay, 2 hours.
2 hours every Saturday, yeah. So
Okay.
the class is for us to give you the foundation, and you have the rest of the week to practice.
Okay.
And this is not a nursery and primary school. We will not chase you around for assignments.
Okay.
We'll just give
Okay.
it to you until you submit. If you submit it, we'll give you feedback. If you don't submit it, we will just give you a reminder.
Okay. Okay. What of if the person miss the training that
Class.
particular Saturday, the class Saturday?
All our classes are recorded, and we always give people extra materials to go and use to catch up.
Okay.
Sometimes
Okay.
maybe the way I'm explaining may not be very friendly enough for you. I can give you a few other videos that I have also used in the past that you can quickly watch and can be helpful to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other question? Are we all happy or in a good place?
Yeah, personally, I want to say thank you so much for these lessons. It's quite interesting, and I'm
Welcome,
just being
sir.
challenged. Yeah, just being challenged to see how to develop myself in this because personally, I'm not into all these things, but I want to start learning it because, like you said, with time, robots might just take over our jobs, and those who knows how to operate them. And
Yep.
yeah, thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome. So when you finish, what's it called? When you finish training with us, yes, we give you support all the way through till you get a job. We have people within our whatever. We create a group for them where when they are going for job interviews, they come around to say, see, I got this job interview. They have given me this, and we start giving you tips on how you can solve your questions and find your way through. So we give support. Not we don't just end it at the training. But at the end of everything, there is an adage in Yoruba that says the child that lifts up their hands is the one that the parents can carry. You need to do that part. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah,
Even during
sure.
the even during the training, if we give you an assignment and you don't respond to it, that is you keeping your hands to your side or putting your hand in your pocket. We cannot carry you. But if
Sorry, have you answered this question? Do you help with training? How about mentorship? Yes,
yeah,
we help with mentorship. Okay.
that's what I'm also talking
Will
about.
AI affect data analyst job? Well, AI is already affecting, but not affecting really. But supporting, I would say.
Yeah,
I use AI at work.
yeah,
I go to ChatGPT. In fact, most of these tools are already embedded with AI. So it's not like it's going to compete with you, but if you don't learn those AI, someone who learn the AI will be replacing you. So,
exactly.
I mean, you can also put it in Google if AI will impact data analyst job, and you will see a lot of responses. But so far, a lot are afraid it's not that AI have heavy impact in replacing data analysts, but you need AI as a data analyst to support
Your job
yourself.
to make
I
your
mean,
life
I use
easier.
ChatGPT, etc., etc. Microsoft has a
Copilot.
Copilot,
Yeah,
which is already embedded in Power
most
BI.
of
I
them do.
think Excel is
Exactly.
also having some form of AI features. So
Yeah.
it's nothing to worry about. It's going to be a great companion, not a replacement.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. So that is the way it works these days. And the story I can tell to people that are in the healthcare space, before if they are trying to do procedures like is it appendectomy or whatever they do, where
Yeah,
they remove appendix.
appendectomy.
Yeah, there is a machine they use now they call Da Vinci or something that they just punch three holes, put a camera through the hole, whatever, boom, and
Yeah, yeah,
the procedure becomes faster now and less invasive as it would have been before. A doctor can end up doing maybe I don't know the numbers, but I can just put this through to say if that procedure takes a doctor 3 hours to do before, now they can do it within, let's say, 30 minutes now. And if, let's say, there is an hospital, imagine there is an hospital where the only thing they do is appendectomy or whatever the name is called. The moment they buy a Da Vinci machine that does the robotic operations with the doctor, they will just need to train. If they have 10 doctors before, they just need to train 5 of them to use the machine, and half of them will be gone.
sure.
And that's what's going to happen within the space, especially for the non-IT, whatever. AI will be able to aid you within the IT space, but it cannot eliminate it because AI is not a perfect scenario. It needs a lot of data. AI cannot generate its own data over time. So there will be a lot of errors as it goes if nobody's feeding it in. So when you're in the IT space, definitely your job is not threatened per se. You definitely just see it as a companion. It will just make your life easier. What will happen, I can tell you categorically, is that because AI will be able to make the job faster, companies may end up saying, since the job is faster now, we can reduce the pay. And what will make you stand out is what extra stuff you are bringing on board
Mm.
as a data analyst. For example, you are working in a pharmaceutical company and you have a data analytics background. However, you had a degree in pharmacy. They will not just handle you as a data analyst, but they will handle you as a pharmacist with AI or with data analytics experience, and that would definitely be the differentiator
Yeah,
compared to somebody who is just a data analyst. I hope that makes sense.
yeah, sure.
So I'm an electrical engineer. If I work in the engineering, if I in the electrical space right now as a data analyst, errors I will pick before an average person will pick it. Well, I'll pick errors faster than an average person who is not an electrical engineer. I hope that makes sense. They will do
Yeah,
something stupid and I'll tell them like, see, this thing you're doing is going to end very bad. And if I'm able to help them save a lot of millions of pounds or whatever, they will definitely respect me over somebody like Kunle, whose background is agric and dairy science, who
yeah,
uh, who came into what's it called, data analytics, and it's just whatever. But for example, Kule is an expert in his field where he is a dairy. So he did, I think he did animal science and he did animal science and he did dairy science. Eventually, he's a data analyst with an agricultural company. I don't know why his mic was not muted when I was calling him to do his testimony. He probably got busy. But yeah, he is an expert in his field because he's an agric person working
Sorry, I
as a
think I
data.
stepped away briefly.
Okay, working as a data analyst within the space. I'll answer this question, then you can, if you want to share your testimony, you can. Um, so there are opportunities for remote job. I can tell you that since 2020, as a data analyst, I have not worked in the office. And I can tell you categorically that if anybody advertised the job today and they say you have to be coming to the office, I always press decline. And I'm sure that if you put 10 data analysts together, 8 of them will be like me. So most of us don't like going to the office because what am I coming to your office to do? I'll just come and I'll say, hey, hello, how are you? Good evening, good morning, good evening. And I'm not going to do anything. Leave me in my house, let me do. The most important thing most organizations care about is Can you get the job done before next week? If the answer is yes, nobody cares about if it comes to the office or not. They just want to probably come and see you like, hey, how are you doing? And that's it. So 9 out of 10 times. And to be very honest with you, being a data analyst is a very flexible job. If you are doing childcare, I do childcare. I will not lie to you. If you are doing childcare and data analyst role are really good roles. I can even tell you that even software development roles are really good roles if you have childcare to deal with, because you have a bit of flexibility compared to if you're in a pure management role like project management, business analyst, and those ones. All the meetings you'll be doing in those roles, nobody wants to hear noise because you are dealing with senior executives and they just want everything to be quiet, and it just has to be strictly business. I'll keep my mouth short. Kule, if you want to share your testimony for a few minutes, we are 5 minutes over the time. So if you can keep it fast and short.
Well, I'm just going to make it brief. Basically, I like to share this every time to encourage people that IT, computer science, statistics, mathematics background does not really matter when you try to become a data analyst, because those are the things you often hear people talk about as the reason why they think they cannot switch to this field. So I remember I started uh, learning data analysis, I think properly during COVID. So I invested a lot of time into it. And like he earlier said, you just need to practice a lot, because that's where you get your 5 years working experience from. Imagine you build one dashboard every week. In 52 weeks, in a year, you will have built 52 dashboards across different industries. So download data across industry and etc. So my bachelor's is in agriculture, my master's is also in agriculture. And people always ask, then how did you move to IT? Simply by learning, by upskilling, by doing trainings like this, LinkedIn, data analysis courses, Udemy, etc., etc. Because one thing is, just like you cannot be a medical doctor without going to medical school. So if you want to be a data analyst and you don't have, say, computer science, I mean, let's even forget about computer science. You just have to go learn the skills, get trained on it properly. There are there are millions of computer science students, especially that you graduated together from Nigeria, and they don't even know anything about the real practical application of these IT stuffs. So, and you will have seen many people like me from different backgrounds, say agriculture, English, sociology. It doesn't matter what your background is. What matters is your commitment to learning and your dedication to practicing whatever you've learned. And I should be honest with you, data analysis is one of the easiest IT field to migrate to transition to. And from there, you will have the confidence to say, even if you want to do something else, you have the confidence to put in the work and get to any other field you want to get to. So yeah, that's my short story.
Let me quickly comment. I remember you mentioning that if somebody's building one dashboard every week for 52 weeks, that's 52 dashboard. Let me tell you a secret. See, at my current job, we started building about 5 dashboards in September. We just finished building all of them this month. So September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. How many months? That's 9 months. Abby? 4, 5. 4, 5 dashboards. That's how long it takes in a real workplace, because there'll be a lot of back and forth. But if you're able to build one dashboard every week for 52 weeks, see, you've built years of experience. Because when they're asking you, how did you do it? I told you the example of somebody that is washing plates. You may be able to join 2, 3 cups or 4 cups together or 4 plates together and wash them, and you are done. That's what makes the difference. I hope that makes sense. Don't let us waste your time. Thank you very much, and God bless you. If you have any question, feel free to use the mic, and if not, I think it's good to keep it very short so that people won't forget the thoughts and lesson. Any questions? Comments? Thoughts? We have 1 minute if there is none.
If there are no further questions, we end it here. You can send message to the group. You can send your questions to me directly to the group. I'll pick it up and respond to you. Thank you very much, and have a nice evening, everyone.
Cheers.
All
Bye.
right, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Mommy, I told you. Daddy, come on. Mommy, open the door. You play.